Welcome into Jags A.M. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Ogier are with me today. We're heading into the bye week, but we're coming off a historically bad loss. So let's talk things out a little bit and talk about what's going to go on going forward. So big thing number one, not if, but when. Obviously, after a loss like we had to the Lions last week, changes will be made at this point. No changes yet, Brian, but when you're looking forward, something has to change at some point.
It does. You can't sell what we've seen too often this year, whether it was the Bills or the Bears. And this was just further proof that there are systemic problems. What those are, for someone else to decide. I mean, I can give you a couple things that I think, and I have. But something's going to change. And I know people want it right now, but that doesn't help change it for the rest of this season. It creates more problems oftentimes. Look, I've done this for 31 years. I've never seen an in-season coaching change make a difference at all. So you might as well just stay the course and go through the rest of the season. The schedule gets easier. You're not playing the Lions anymore. You've got the Titans and the Jets and teams that fit more where you are. I would stay right where I was, understanding that nobody believes that anything is staying the same when the season is complete.
Yeah, it's as much as fans don't want to hear this, Shad Khan and people who are influencing the decision, you don't want to make a move in the X number of hours right after that. It's emotional, and even though fans' instinct to say, well, fire everybody, it's the job and of the owner to make sure that the change or the structure is good for the long term and not good for 12 hours.
Listen,
right?
And people know this, but the Jets fired Robert Saleh how many weeks ago? And has that turned the tide at all? And Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback. They've got that veteran presence. It hasn't changed anything. And I think people know. They know this, but the emotion of it is, I got to have change and I got to have it now. Look, it sucked watching on Sunday. Nobody liked that at all. But you're not going to change it in 2 weeks because you change it right now.
It's true. Now, our second big thing is on the table. While we talk about grand changes, we haven't seen a lot of that yet. Doug Pederson was asked earlier this week about whether he'd be making any changes to his coaching staff or particularly to play calling.
Gosh, I really wish. Everything, let's just put it this way, everything's on the table. Let's leave it at that.
John, play calling's on the table. Apparently everything is on the table. Is it a little too late for those kinds of talks?
Yeah, I'd say it's on the table because he wanted to answer the question yesterday, and in the next, until the coaches leave the building for the bye, which I think is Thursday, Wednesday, whatever, they need to discuss that and figure out what to do going forward. I don't think at that point he had made that decision. So leaving everything on the table, I'd be a little surprised if he changes the approach, Brian, because he's been pretty clear for 2.5 years that he believes in this approach. Maybe he takes over play calling or changes a dynamic in it, but I just don't believe from listening to Doug for 2.5 years that he thinks there's an issue with the structure.
No, I don't think so. I'll take the coaching side because he was asked about would he make changes to his coaching staff, and I think I said on our post-game radio show on Sunday evening and yesterday on Jaguars A.M. or Monday on Jaguars A.M. That I thought maybe you'd have a sacrificial lamb. You know, somebody that set the tone, that said it wasn't good enough, we can't have that, we've got to change it. But Doug reminded me in his news conference on Monday afternoon that this was one of the reasons why he ended up leaving Philadelphia, because he doesn't want to point the finger at his assistant coaches. In fact, he was definitive when he said, point the finger at me. So I don't expect you're going to see any changes to his coaching staff. That's not how he operates. Maybe the owner comes in and changes the dynamic because he's the one person who can make him do something like that. But Doug seemed pretty adamant that if anyone was going to go, it wasn't going to be any of his assistant coaches.
Big thing number 3 is bye-bye. We're into the bye week, and as Brian mentioned, when speaking directly to the fans, here's what Doug Pederson had to say.
Yeah, you can criticize me all you want, point the finger at me, that's fine, because that's where it starts. But, you know, for the players, they put their best foot forward every single day. Yesterday was not who we are. And to Gene's point, I mean, this is an exhausted team right now, and we need this week to get rejuvenated again, get fresh again, get ready to go for the last 6 weeks.
Brian, I think this team, the fan base, probably tired physically, emotionally, mentally, every aspect of that. Is there any belief after what we saw against the Lions they're going to be able to bounce back and at least put some effort forward in these last 6 games?
Well, yeah, I mean, Doug says that's not who we are, and I know that's not a satisfying answer for anyone, but what else can he possibly say? He could point back to the 3 games prior, the Packers, the Eagles, and the Vikings, where they were in it at the end, and those are 3 good football teams near the top of the standings in the league, let alone the NFC, and he can say that's who we are. So if you're looking for hope, if that's true, that's who they are. I mean, you went toe-to-toe with the Texans a couple of weeks ago, and again, the teams that are left on the schedule more close to who you are record-wise, the Raiders, the Titans, the Jets. So if you're just going to try to compare, yeah, there's a reason to have some hope and to believe what he had to say. It's just there wasn't a whole lot to say for us or for him.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that that's who they were on Sunday because that's what it was, or whatever all these were or was. I can't keep track right now. But it's not who they've been, and I think Doug does believe you can get back to how you were playing with the emotion and the desire of the 3 weeks leading into Detroit. I think he does believe they can get that back. If you get Trevor Lawrence back, playing those last 6 games, he said ad nauseum in the last couple of days, I know fans are tired of hearing it, about it being a tired, fatigued team. I think there was something to that in Detroit, that once they kind of took the punch, there wasn't a punch to give back. I do think after the bye there'll be a punch to give back. I just don't know if those punches are going to have a bunch more wins, but I think you'll see more fight.
Love some more fight. We're going to fight through this. We're going to come back after the break and talk a little bit about what we're going to see after the bye week.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA to not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
No matter what happens to your phone this holiday, whether it crashes down the chimney or gets broken like a New Year's resolution, Verizon's got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a wonderful new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on Unlimited Ultimate and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's up to $2,000 in value. So you'll save big on 3 amazing Apple gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence available now.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jags A.M. brought to you by Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. You can go to fieldsauto.com.
This or that. This or that.
Welcome back into Jags A.M. It's Wednesday of bye week. We're getting ready to have a couple of days off, so that's good, but we still want to look forward to those final 6 games. We've mentioned 5 of the 6 opponents under 500, so those are winnable matches, but it depends who you're putting out on the field at that point. We've talked about Trevor Lawrence possibly being available. We don't know what that full availability will be, but in your mind, do you need to see Trevor at some point in the rest of the season?
Yes. Yeah, because I want to see my young wide receiver have the best possible arm throwing him the ball, especially because he runs deep. I think we've seen that that's not Mac Jones' specialty, that he just misses on those deep balls. So yes, I want to see him, not at the risk of the shoulder needing surgery and being a problem for him, but if he can handle the pain, and because that's not going to change until the offseason, if he can handle it, not injure it further, yeah, I need to see him.
I say yay. I mean,
yay or nay?
The graphic here says yay or nay, so I'll go with yay. Because I would like to see him as long as, it doesn't affect next offseason, which my understanding is it wouldn't in terms of if surgery is an option and all that. And if Trevor wants to play, if he can do it without injury, then even for beyond Brian Thomas Jr., he's still a young guy and still getting better, progressing would be a positive. And now, I'm usually not this guy, but I think the offensive line's fine. If the offensive line were to sustain some injuries where it got a little dicey, I think they've pass protected okay, so I have no problem with putting him out there in this situation right now.
I think he's also the leader of your franchise and the leader of the locker room, and you have guys in there going, well, what? You're going to package him up in bubble wrap and put him away because of that. I'm playing with a knee, a hip, a foot, whatever it might be. What about me? I think having him as that guy, and not because he's the $54 million man, but because he's the #1 guy and he sets the tempo for your team. And he's a guy who played hurt last year. He's a guy who's tough enough to be willing to play hurt. Not injured, but hurt. So yeah, I think the locker room needs to see, if he can play, see him play.
It'll feel very, I'm not sure the word, rudderless, no big toe kind of situation if you don't have Trevor in there. Because it will feel very stale, I think. I'd rather not have that, and I think the franchise would still be good for some energy, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Agree.
And when we talked about developing some of the younger players, the offense is inoperable at this point, so you're not seeing much of anything from anybody. No. So if we want to see some of what, Brenton Strange can do, what Brian Thomas can do, we definitely need to see Trevor back out there. Also looking at a couple guys' contract years, right? We talked about this, who's going to be here going forward? Who do we want to see? Some of the young guys already locked up, but 2 guys in contract years right now, Andre Cisco, Walker Little. Have you seen enough of either of them to say you would want them back?
Yeah, probably, I think the jury's still out a little bit on Walker Little. There's 6 games. With Andre, I like him. Probably second contract safety money, Brian.
No.
I would have a tough time. I think he's an NFL starter. I think he's a good player. I don't know about second contract big money for this.
My understanding is that he is a guy whose first step is often wrong, right? And when you're talking about being over the top, the best example of it is in Philadelphia on Devonta Smith's play. Yeah. I'm told that was him. He should have been over the top helping Ronald Darby, and instead he made a move to the inside when he should have gone outside, and that's been the case all year long with him. So I'd probably rather have Walker Little because bigger guys are harder to find, but he hasn't exactly exonerated himself as the future at left tackle. He's got a lot to prove the final 6 games.
Yeah, 6 games are big for him. I mean, it's it's a position where if he shows and you feel great about it, but I think you have to feel great about it in a contract year, because then there's probably not a whole lot more development, right? Yeah. So maybe through no fault of his own, hasn't played a lot to develop, but I don't know if in year 5 you can have project there. So we'll see. I'm less certain on that than Andre.
Look, and not to turn this to the draft, because we'll have all kinds of time for that, but where the Jaguars are likely going to be picking, there are a couple of good offensive tackles. So if you are not sold on him, that could be an option for you.
But you could need a couple the way the line is right now. You could need.
I'm just going to say this.
Depending whether.
Listen, you need big guys up front. You guys.
On both sides of the ball.
Without a doubt. But you saw the way that Lions offensive line sets the tempo for their whole team, both sides of the ball. Give me that. And give me an offensive lineman who can play like that. I can build something.
Yeah, they have to start.
I say me, I mean someone else.
I think Walker's good, and I do. But you saw the Lions the other day, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you need to start being great up front to get where this team wants to go.
Yes, agreed.
All right, stay with us. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on elsewhere around the NFL.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes have been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags. We're here on Jags A.M. today, getting ready for the bye week. We're going to talk about some other teams so we don't have to wallow in our pity right now for ourselves. So let's talk a little bit about Anthony Richardson back as the starter for the Colts, and he got a win over the Jets. Led them with 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 throwing touchdown. We weren't sure if they were going to give up on him entirely. Apparently they were saying they weren't really doing that. I don't know if that's true or not, or if it was because Joe Flacco wasn't doing as well, but he's back in there.
As long as he has more rushing touchdowns in a game than passing touchdowns, nothing changes as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I think it's a smart move for them. Joe Flacco, short term, obviously, franchises need to find out in this day and age what they've got at quarterback, because it's a quick trigger, decide to move on league right now. So I agree with Brian. And until you can come at least remotely close to winning in the pocket, it's hard to establish yourself as the guy. Feels like he has a long way to go, but the next 5 or 6 games for that franchise, we were talking about Trevor earlier. They need him on the field for 6 games to figure something out.
Yeah, to be fair, that's the exact same reason why you want Trevor on the field, right? But in his case, you need to see exactly where he's at so you can decide whether there's got to be a quarterback in your future or whether you take this incredibly gifted young man but not polished passer and keep going with him.
Yeah, I was surprised earlier, frankly, that they didn't just stick with him, because you've got to figure that out. In his case, considering he's had so few games in his career.
Absolutely. I think another team that we know probably has already decided they want to get a quarterback is the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis has been back for a couple games now. They weren't able to get a win over the Vikings. The Vikings swept the AFC South. But, yeah, I don't know where they're going to go. I guess, I mean, coming in with a new head coach, and they didn't pick Levis, so that wasn't their guy necessarily to begin with. But now to see that they're going to be in a similar situation where they're looking for another quarterback.
Well, and I mean, Shedeur Sanders is sitting right there at the top of the draft, and I believe Carson Beck is going to be a top pick as well. Maybe not top 5, but up there because he's got a huge arm. If you're Brian Callahan, you get your choice. You want the pocket passer, or you want the mobile guy who can on the run throw the ball 60 yards on a dart. If you're the Titans, you leave all your options open.
Yeah, and it does feel very much like came in, had a look. 6 games left. Maybe Will Levis can still save that situation for him. Stranger things have happened, but it's funny. You assume things about quarterbacks in this league in off seasons, and there was a lot of talk at some point that this was a quarterback-centric division. Now you've still got a lot of guys with some proving to do.
The Texans were able to get a win over the Cowboys, who I think are 3-7 at this point. So. I don't know the exact numbers, but there's like 7 teams that are 3-7 or worse this year. So it feels like, unfortunately, misery likes company. There's a lot of us out there dealing with this right now. And the Texans they obviously have a lot of talent on their team, but they haven't been playing great this year. It's just the rest of the division is not good.
When I watch them, do you run the ball? Well, I mean, they certainly did on Monday night, right? But when we saw them, of course, Mixon didn't play. They weren't as committed to the running game. C.J. Stroud, I think, has impressive arm talent. But without Nico Collins, they weren't as good at passing the ball. So I think they're still trying to figure out their identity, but that quarterback he's fun to watch.
Real deal.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. I think a little bit of a situation like Trevor, where still trying to figure out exactly what C.J. is going to be for the long term. He was magnificent as a rookie, very good this year, but still I think trying to figure out exactly what he is, how dependent is he on guys around him. He's the franchise guy, no question, but where he's going to fit and how franchise-ish he's going to be, I think that's what he's determining now as the league gets a better grip on what he is and how to defend him.
Well, they've won some close games this year, which has been the difference, and that's why they're 7-3 and running away with the division at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Stay with us. We're going to talk to you about what's coming up the rest of the bye week, and then we'll see you again.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA to not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jags fans, are you ready to upgrade your living space? Enter for a chance to win the ultimate furniture giveaway. You could enhance your home with a new sectional, queen mattress, or queen bedroom set, courtesy of Furniture Source. One lucky fan will receive new furniture after every Jaguars home game this season. Don't miss out. Enter today by visiting jaguars.com/sweepstakes. Jaguars.com/sweepstakes. Selections will vary by game. When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Jags fans, you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans.
I think you got to be really, really careful when you start pointing fingers at certain people. It's a dangerous thing, and I'm not going to do that. Not doing it. Not right now, because that's, as a head coach in this league, that's going through what we're going through. You're pointing a finger, and if it's going to be pointed, it needs to be pointed at me. Start with me, right? So that's enough on that.
No significant changes. We're going into the bye week. We are expecting to come back. We have 6 more games this year. Brian, what are you hopeful to see change-wise in the last 6 games?
Well, I just got to comment. I really like a coach, a head coach, who will stand there and say, point the finger at me. Mm-hmm. Stand-up guy. I've seen coaches fire guys that they're close to before and know how difficult it is. And I just admire him standing up and doing it. What am I hoping to see change? I'm hoping to see this team come out and win a close game, right? I mean, they haven't done it. I don't know how that, I don't know whether that's throwing the ball downfield more, playing a different coverage on the back end on defense. I mean, there are smarter football people than me that can make that decision, but come out and beat the Texans, win a close game, and see if that doesn't spark a little momentum here. It's too little too late for most people, I get that, but we've been telling bad stories for 11 weeks. 9 of the 11 stories we've told have been ugh. Right? Let's have some fun the last 7 weeks of the season.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's very conceivable they could beat the Texans. This is a league where that kind of thing happens, and they matched up well against them in the first game this year. So, like to see Trevor get back if he's good to go and have a little life. I don't know what the end of the season will bring. But you can certainly have some positives and some, ray of light in the last 6 weeks in what feels really dark right now.
Bye week coming at the perfect time for all of us. We hope you enjoy your week away, rest up, and get ready. We will be back on Monday morning to talk Jaguars football.